All right. So this afternoon, we'll be talking about understanding long-term healthcare. We should know about the basics of HMO, life insurance, and investment. Okay. So before we go to our main event, so let me introduce myself. I'm Dr. Julian De Habanil. I'm a surgeon by profession and a financial educator because one of my advocacies is about uh, financial education for all, and that includes us Filipinos we who badly need financial education. And uh, I am a senior marketing director of International Marketing Group. So So before we go on, no, I want you to picture such scenarios here. So maybe a few years from now, we are planning to retire. And if some of us know, yung mga OFW na nasa ibang bansa, we actually want to have a retirement, or we go back home to be able to have plans, no, na hindi na tayo babalik. Tapos we have that savings that we are actually dreaming to have. So, imaginein po natin, no, retired na po tayo, tapos nagta-travel tayo outside the Philippines, and then we are doing the things that we want, no? We're passionate about. Kung sa iba, magpapantita, gagawa ng charity work, ano, magiging church servant, no? While we are already retired and we are actually out of our, we are not working anymore, but we're actually doing the things that we're passionate about. And also, we are also living without worrying of getting hospitalized because we can pay. So this last statement, no, can anyone can we imagine that there will come a time, or we'll be dreaming about that, na hindi po tayo natatakot magkasakit kasi we already prepared for it, because there's a reason why nandito po tayo ngayon na afternoon, or this time of the day, or afternoon, morning, or nighttime. There's a reason why I'm here to share about this experience, or this product, or this way of actually achieving all of this. And especially the last part, which is not thinking about what we will do, or ano yung igagasto sa atin pag tayo ay ma-hospitalize in the future. Kasi all of us is tatanda talaga. We're going there. Not all of us, we are not getting any younger. So there is a reason why I'm here to share about this experience this afternoon. Okay. So first and foremost, since we are actually talking about retirement and financial planning, so we'll talk about the basics of what are some of the components of retirement and financial planning. So there are definitions there are things that we need to define, no? Kasi ito po yung mga terms na hindi na-encounter po natin every day pero hindi natin alam kung ano yung ibig sabihin, 'di ba? So, okay, now, what are the words that we need to define? Number 1 is HMO, number 2 is insurance, and number 3 is investment. So first, let's go to the first and most confusing part, kasi hindi natin alam kung ano talaga ito. So number 1 is insurance. So insurance pala ito. So ano pa talaga yung insurance? Why is it that we need to have insurance? So insurance is actually, it is a means of protection, that should anything happen to us, meron po tayong assurance. So meron po tayong security na hindi po natin matitaken for granted yung mga naiwan natin. Kasi sometimes we don't get insurance because tayo po yung nagbabayad, the policy holders, no, cannot get what we paid. But guys, no, this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, if insurance kasi is something that you buy because it's something that you will you will leave or iiwan po natin yan sa ating mga loved ones. Kasi pag tayo po ay namatay, especially if tayo yung breadwinner, is um, if mawala tayo sa buhay ng ating mga minamahal, wala pong magbibigay ng pera sa atin. So there's a chance po na two times po silang iiyak. First, iiyak sila kasi nawala po tayo. Second is, wala po tayong naiwan sa kanila. So insurance is actually leaving our legacy or leaving something, specifically financial assistance. If ever we die, no, we can actually give them something or an amount, no, instant money po na hindi po sila wala po silang problem when it comes to living, no? Yung mga panggastos ng education ng mga anak, yung panggastos ng ano uh, ating mga expenses daily. Kasi pag tayong primary na nagbibigay ng pera doon, if mawala tayo, para na lang nawala yung flow of money sa bahay natin or sa ating pamilya. Kaya nga magiging sila, your insurance is a form of risk management because it is because nawawalan tayo ng kaba or hindi tayo natatakot na if tayo ay mamatay is walang makain yung pamilya natin. So it is actually one of decreasing the risk of our families, getting more and more having those suffering when it comes to finances. Okay, next is investment. So this is also one of the confused or sometimes this is mislabeled, no? Iba yung pagkaintindi po natin, especially here in the Philippines, no? Medyo hindi po natin talaga alam kung ano, and not all of us understand ano yung investment. So, in simple terms, no? Yung investment is something, no? Binili natin because we think that there would come a time na if ibibenta natin ito or gagamitin natin ito ay magbibigay ng income sa atin or ito ay lalaki ang halaga. For example, 'di ba, yung usually investment natin na encounter is bili tayo ng lupa kasi nag-appreciate. So parang ganun. Yun din ang ibig sabihin ng investment. However, yung mga investment po natin, no, usually is pag may nangyari sa atin, no, hindi natin ito ma-manage ng maayos. Sometimes prematurely mabibigay natin ito in a lower amount. So I will discuss further about that type of situation later. So this purchase of goods, these are not, okay, take note of this term, not consumed today. So hindi po natin ito agad-agad kailangang i-liquidate or kailangang i-sell kasi it is for our future to create wealth. Kasi yung usual nga natin naririnig na investment, especially sa mga scams, no? Especially yung latest po dito sa Bohol, yung REPA or yung KAPA before, is that they actually give us guarantees of high return in a short period of time. So para na lang tayo nag-i-expect na bukas is mag-grow po yung money. But, well, a true investment or a legit one does not do that. Kasi it takes time, no? Time po yung pinaka-importanting element when it comes to investment. So what are the examples of these investments, no, in a legit way? First is mutual funds. Second is real estate, which is bahay, lupa, condo. Stock and bonds are the ones sold in the stock market, and bonds are the ones that when people are given the opportunity to lend or to make the government borrow to them, no? Pwede po tayo magpautang sa government or sa any company po. There is such thing like that, so that when the time comes, no, 2 to 3 years after they borrow the money, they will give you promised dividends. Examples of the bonds of the companies that will give bonds are San Miguel and some big companies. Stocks are in the stock market, which is in the Philippine Stock Exchange. And if we also go for foreign stock trading, we have the New York Stock Exchange and other places who have the stock exchange. And also the last but not the least, which is the topic of our discussion for this afternoon, is the long-term care. Okay. And last but not the least, no? Puro ako last but not the least, no? So, what is the third thing that we need to understand or we need to define this afternoon is HMO. So ano ba yung HMO? HMO is Health Maintenance Organization upon the definition of the acronym. So the acronym HMO, this provides health insurance coverage for a monthly and annual fee. So this is actually purchased the usual HMO or health card, yung sinasabi natin dito, health card or short-term health care. Yun yung ibig sabihin po ng HMO. Medicard, yung mga ganun, is actually given or is actually with a coverage of 1 month or for a monthly fee or an annual fee. So once a year natin ito babayaran or once a month. Sometimes babayaran po ito ng ating kumpanya or sometimes hati po yung empleyado tsaka yung kumpanyang magbayad po ng health card. So ito po yung parang parang isa sa mga benefits po, especially if nasa big company po tayo nagtatrabaho. So this insurance structure actually provides coverage through a network of physicians. So yung mga doktor po na connected po sa HMO, no? Sila po yung sila lang po yung pwedeng magbigay ng services. If yung doktor po natin is hindi part po ng ating HMO, kahit na gusto po natin yung doktor na yon ang magbagamot sa atin, if hindi po siya kasali sa lista ng doktor sa HMO, hindi po siya pwedeng mag-treat sa atin na for in the coverage po sa HMO. Kasi meron po siyang network of physicians. So for example, ako, isang doktor, no? Hindi ako pwedeng mag-render ng service ko under a certain Medicare if hindi po ako affiliated or hindi po ako registered sa network of physicians nila. So kahit hindi po kahit pa gusto nyo ng aking services, if gagamitin po natin yung ating Medicard na hindi po ako kasali, so hindi po pwede akong mag-render ng service for a fee na nanggaling po sa Medicard. So separate fee po yan. Kasi sometimes kasi may preferred po tayo ng mga physicians. Kaso if hindi sila kasali sa ating Medicard, hindi po tayo makakover niyan. Okay? So, next po is, right. So, what are the types of healthcare? So, there are many types of healthcare. So, one type, the three types are your short-term care, your senior care, and your long-term care. So first, let's talk about the short-term care, which the one I described earlier, yung HMO, no? Usually yearly basis po yung ating coverage niyan. So, hindi na po natin maka-carry over yung binayad natin for this year doon sa next year. So, kahit hindi po tayo magkakasakit, no, hindi po tayo hindi po tayo ma-hospital this year, hindi po natin maka-carry over yung ating binayad on the next year. Tapos, sometimes when we get older, no, yung premium po natin is magiging mas mahal. Kasi alam po nila, when we get to be older, marami pong sakit na lumalabas. So, and then, if ever marami na po tayong sakit, especially if hindi po tayo, hindi po tayo ganun ka health conscious, no? Kasi magastos talaga magkasakit. So, if hindi po tayo ganun ka health conscious, so yung renewal natin is hindi guaranteed. And there are no return of premium. So, for example, hindi natin nagamit again for this year, hindi na po natin makukuha yung ating perang binayad. So, yan po yung short-term healthcare. Tapos, yung coverage po niya is until 60 lang po talaga. Hindi na po siya exceed. Unless kung kukuha natin yung senior care. So, yung senior care is another type of healthcare where it covers 60 years old and above. However, no, hindi po guaranteed yung renewal. Kasi, at the time, no, na 60 po tayo, no, life begins at 40, but, it complicates at 60. So, lahat po ng complication po ng ating sakit, no, it comes at the age of 60 and above. So, marami na po nasa-stroke, na heart attack by 60. Even lang, nowadays, younger na nga eh. So, it's not a guarantee na ma-renew po ang ating coverage. Kasi, malaking gastos po yan when it comes to the company. So sila po yung may decision if we get renewed or not. And then for senior care po, one-time payment which is very expensive because the company knows that if ever magkasakit po tayo and we're already senior citizen, malaki po yung gastos natin. Kasi most of us um, will have longer days in hospitalization, and sometimes people of old age goes to the ICU, especially if medyo malala po yung sakit. So, yun po ang ating senior care. So, Kaiser, what we are actually discussing for this afternoon is our long-term health care. It is the combination. Okay? Again, let me reiterate, no? It is in HMO, no? So it is again you can be it's under a network of physicians. Tapos it is you have to pay for it, but with a health savings account. Yung kakaiba lang nito is that you pay for 7 years only, but its its advantage or benefits can actually reach until you are going back to the creator. So, pwede po, ano po ito siya? From application to until old age, no? If we pay religiously, no? In 7 years, we'll actually have that benefit until we retire or until we become above 60. Bakit kamo? So we will talk about it later. So it matures in 20 years, no? So after you only pay for 7 years, and by the time that it matures, you can actually have perks that you can actually utilize by the time that you retire. It comes with an insurance coverage together with the long-term healthcare plan. So it means that it's not only about it's not only an HMO or a healthcare which you can use for hospitalization. It gives you a health savings account that you can get within 20 years upon maturity, and it covers you a life insurance which is within that 20 years while you are waiting po na ma-mature. So ito isang HMO na mayroon pong investment which is yung health savings account na makukuha natin after 20 years of after 20 years of starting payment. So for example, from year 1 to 7, magpe-pay po tayo, but from year 8 to 20, mag-intay lang po tayo na ma-mature siya. So by the time that it matures, meron po tayong makukuha health savings account, or if hindi po natin kukunin yung health savings account, meron po tayong bigger na for retirement or a healthcare that will grow until beyond 60. And while we are waiting for the maturity, there is an insurance that will cover us that if anything happens to us who is waiting for the maturity, we can actually give something to our families. So that is the overview of the definition of terms that we are having. So why are we actually having this conversation this afternoon? Bakit ba tayo nag-uusap nito? Doc, I think hindi naman natin need yan. No, but I would emphasize, no, the reason why we're actually talking about this afternoon is because nang dahil po sa health situation of the Philippines. To be honest, as one of the people inside the system, no, isa pong tao na nagwo-work sa hospital for almost 6 years na po, going 7 years, and I have been in the hospital since I was in pre-med. Nakikita po natin yung situation po ng Philippine healthcare system, no? So anong nangyayari po na sa ating healthcare system? So we can see a lot of hospitals, especially yung public ones, is punong-puno po, especially ngayon na pandemic, punong-puno po ng mga pasyente. Kahit hindi pandemic, no? Nasa hallway na po yung iba. Yung iba hindi na po nakakatungtong ng ward, no? Nasa ER lang, tapos doon po sila babawian ng buhay. Kasi ganun po yung ating healthcare system. If nasa private naman tayo, hindi tayo nakakakuha ng room if wala tayong pang-down. So, yun yung ating nakakaawang healthcare system po ng Philippines. So, if you try to ask most Filipinos, no, meron pong survey na ginawa noong 2019, before po ng pandemic ito, ha. So, 40% for 40% pala of them na nag-participate sa survey, no? Sinabi nila, Doc, hindi ko po ma-anticipate or parang hindi ko yata kayang ma-hospitalize kasi wala po kaming pambayad. 30% po nun, nagsasabing, wala nga kaming pangkain, Doc. So definitely wala po kaming for regular check-up na budget. And 60%, Doc, wala naman po kaming healthcare. Yung inaasahan lang po namin is yung PhilHealth. Guys and girls, and ladies and gentlemen, actually, PhilHealth is very useful, especially if we go to our public hospitals. However, meron pong excess niyan. So, sometimes, hindi po nababayaran yung excess. Kasi yung iba naman, pupunta na po sa hospital na medyo grabe na po. Kasi yung sasabihin, okay lang, mamamatay din naman ako, so dito na lang ako mamamatay. Pero hindi naman gusto mo, kung ikaw yung kamag-anak, gusto mo bang ganun yung sitwasyon? Kasi kayo din, natatakot din naman kayong mamatay yung ano nyo, yung kapamilya nyo sa bahay nyo, di ba? So, definitely, pupunta kayo ng hospital. So, pagpunta doon, medyo grabe na, eventually, yung iba, no, mas sabi nga nila, mas cheaper daw yung mas cheaper daw yung magpalibing na lang. Or kukuha na lang ng kabaong. But actually nowadays hindi rin, medyo magastos din 'yon. So that is what is the health situation of the Philippines in a summary. So 'di ba? So hindi pa kasama yung mga horror stories nating naririnig na walang pangbayad, nasa ER lang namatay or nabawian ng buhay or yung iba hindi na nadala ng hospital kasi walang bakante. Yun po yung mga nangyayari dito sa ating bansa. Kasi kulang po yung mga hospitals, wala ding healthcare workers. So, very personal po yung story na yun kasi I'm one of the people who are there, who see it. So, this is the reason why we have to prepare now. That's the reason why we're talking about this now because it's very important. So, 'di ba? Usually, our government also gives us mga assistance na pwede pong maka-assist sa atin. Pero ito, DSWD, SSS, GSIS, Malasakit Center, PCSO, PhilHealth. But the question, is it enough? Enough po ba? Yung alam ko, yung binibigay po ng DSWD is only 10,000. Yung excess is 30,000. So asa natin kukunin yung 20,000, di ba? So it is but important for us to personally prepare ourselves. Kasi sometimes if we are too dependent to the government or to the PhilHealth, the ending po niyan is tayo po din yung kawawa. So ano po yung formula na kailangan nating alamin? Ano po yung secret na dapat nating i-consider or kailangan nating madiskubrihan? So ito po yung solid financial foundation. Okay. So yung solid financial foundation is para po tayong magko-construct ng bahay. So first, dapat meron po tayong extra income na pwede po nating kunan para sa ating mga needs. Especially sa mga things like healthcare or insurance. Kasi pag wala po tayong cash flow, hindi naman natin ma-afford na makakuha ng mga ng healthcare, ng insurance. So it is important. Next is, and then also if magastos po tayo, definitely wala po tayong masasave. Wala din po tayong malalagay sa ating insurance. Kasi sometimes, mas mabibigyan pa natin ng importansya yung mga bagay na pwede namang hindi natin kailangang bilhin ngayon. Diba? Sometimes, mas gugustuhin pa natin bumili ng mga iPhone, mga Well, for me, kung pera niyo yan, hindi ko naman yan, it's your decision. But sometimes, our decisions kasi will also give us consequences na hindi natin gusto. Diba? So next is, after cash flow, mas maganda sana if meron tayong healthcare. So both short-term and long-term healthcare. Short-term kasi, sayang naman din yung long-term healthcare na ating gagastusin is for retirement naman yan. Diba? If short-term, kahit anong mangyari, i-flash mo lang yung card mo doon sa hospital, hindi ka matatakot na ma-hospital. Bangga na nun, hindi ka nawawalan ng tulog sa gabi kasi alam mo, if ever something happens to you, if you go to the hospital, hindi ka ipapa-standby doon sa ER kasi wala kang pang-down. Which is yun din yung isa sa mga sad realities po, especially sa mga private hospitals. Well, hindi naman sa lahat, but there are some hospitals that really require down kasi marami ding abusadong mga Pilipino na pumupunta doon walang down tapos hindi babayaran yung hospital. So natuto na din yung hospital. So ganyan kalala yung yung health situation po ng Philippines. And of course, it's better also and it's the best that we have life insurance because if we can't make it in St. Luke's, somehow we can have it in St. Peter. So at the very least, when we die, we'll leave something for our family. Di ba? For example, hospital tayo, tapos mamatay tayo. Wala tayong iniiwan. Malaki yung utang sa hospital. Wala naman tayong pambayad kasi nawala na tayo. Di ba? So it's a good planning. It's because planning is actually preventing failing. So kasi failing to plan is planning to fail. So next is elimination of debt. So yung debt kasi para siyang anay, para siyang butas po sa ating lalagyan ng tubig na kahit gaano po natin ito punuin, hindi po ito mapupuno kasi lalabas at lalabas din yung tubig kasi may butas. And then emergency fund, which is something that we can actually give directly when we have this crisis or these emergencies. That's why it's called an emergency fund. So, something po, savings po ito na ating tinabi para in case may mangyari sa atin na na kailangan ng diretso pong value or diretso pong halaga, meron po tayong pambayad. And last but not the least na po yung ating investment. Kasi pag yung investment, itong investment po, ito po yung sabi, di ba, you accumulate this to earn wealth after. So, bakit po needed natin yung solid financial foundation? Because ito po yung, if you try to look at it, it is in a very sturdy way. Kahit po lindolin yan, hindi po yan magigiba. Di ba, nakita mo yung Pyramid of Giza tsaka Pyramid doon sa Mexico? If titingnan niyo yung picture niyan, ilang centuries na po yan, hindi po yan nagigiba. Kasi malakas po yung foundation, matibay. So what if, okay, Doc, ito po yung sitwasyon ng ating ating financial foundation is kasi marami akong investment, marami akong lupa, marami akong paupahang bahay, marami po akong farm, may farm po akong malaki, tapos meron akong bigasan. Pero wala po akong healthcare, wala akong insurance kasi hindi naman ako naniniwala sa healthcare at insurance stock kasi masascam ako diyan, no? Tapos medyo yung utang natin meron din kasi pang puhunan po sa investment natin. Tapos yung emergency fund natin, hindi po tayo nagsisave kasi okay lang naman yung ating investment. Okay. Pwedeng ganun, di ba? Pero what if, may magkasakit po sa pamilya natin, ma-stroke, na ICU. Magkano yung ICU ngayon? No? Maliit lang yung 100,000 per day. Guys, it's the reality, no? 100,000 per day is a reality. No, marami pong hospital na ganun. No, may mga gamot po na in 3 doses, no? That's 6,000 already. Wala po ng dugo na nag-clot sa brain natin, no? It would go from 20,000 to 50,000 per shot. Needed po ng 3 shots per day. Na yun. Maliit lang po yung 100,000 sometimes. Hindi pa included yung doktor na yun. Especially if hindi, kasi walang healthcare, walang HMO. So yung doktor yung maniningil. Diba? Kasi alangan namang hindi maningil yung doktor trabaho din naman nila yun, diba? So, okay. So, yung investment po natin, kasi 100,000 per month, per day yung gastos natin, atin na lang ibenta natin yung ating farm. So instead, yung farm natin magbibigay sa atin ng cash flow every year 2 times kasi twice or thrice tayo magha-harvest ng rice, nabenta natin kasi wala tayong panggastos, anong mangyayari sa atin? So mawala yung lahat ng investment natin. Kasi kulang na kulang . Sabi nila one sickness of a family member here in the Philippines can cause poverty. So kahit isa lang yung magkasakit, no, pwedeng mawala po lahat sa atin. And then it's actually not just a personal experience but also experience of people that I talk to, no? Totoo po 'yan. Especially if hindi po naka-prepare yung ating mga lolo't lola ng ating retirement, and definitely yung mga apo at mga anak yung magagastos. So yung mga investment sana na pamana po sa ating mga magulang sa atin eh mabebenta, wala na pong matitira sa atin. So anong mangyayari? So maubos yung savings, uutang tayo, eh magigiba din yung ating financial house. Next is, Doc, what if wala po akong utang pero hindi po ako magsi-save kasi para sa akin uh, YOLO, no? You only live once. So kung kaya ko namang bayaran yung utang ko, eh, no need na po yung mga investment tsaka yung mga life insurance na mga ganyan. Eh, what if magkasakit ako? Meron na namang nagkasakit sa pamilya natin. Kahit wala tayong urang, makakautang pa rin tayo. Okay? So, next. Doc, what if marami akong savings pero akong investment? Sige. Yung savings is okay. Pero yung savings po, especially if you put it in the bank, hindi malaki yung interest. So, mangyayari, maubos din yon. So, kahit nag-ipon ka ng nag 1,000 per month. So, tapos 10 years, 120,000 lang yon. Eh, isang araw lang yun sa ospital. Di ba? So, isang araw lang yun. So, anong mangyayari? Yung savings natin, poof, wala na. Just like that. Tapos pinag-ipunan mo, hindi ka kumain ng masarap for 2 weekends kasi gusto mong i-save, di ba? So sayang naman yun. Okay. Last but that ito, pwede ding Doc, may insurance naman ako na may investment. Ayoko na mag-healthcare kasi okay na yun. Kasi may investment naman yun eh. Pero what if magkasakit na ulit yung isang family member mo? Then, merong chance po na yung life insurance with investment natin ma-withdraw. I-withdraw po natin kahit malapit na po siyang matapos, pero dahil hindi po tayo nakaprepare sa ibang aspect, is ma-withdraw din natin yon. So, mawawala din yung investment natin, di ba? Sad yun. Ito, Doc, marami akong investment. Merong savings ako. Meron naman, wala akong utang. Tapos may life insurance ako. Pero wala akong healthcare. Again, guys, no, mauuna pa si St. Luke's kaysa kay St. Peter. So, again, if may magkasakit, no, sa family, there's a big chance na yung investment po natin, no, maubos. Emergency fund po natin, maubos again. Yung life insurance po natin, pwedeng ma-withdraw para mabayaran lang po yung nagkasakit. So, yan po yung reality. So, ito, kahit kung lindolin ito, no, magigiba talaga yan. So, another concept about not just about the situation here in the Philippines is this situation. It's called the sandwich generation. So, ano ba yung sandwich generation, Doc? Yun ba mga tao mahilig sa sandwich? Corny? Corny naman ang joke ngayon. So, ito, sandwich generation is actually the people who are taking care of their parents and also taking care of their children. So, tayo po yan na nasa sandwich sa dalawang responsibilidad. So, may situation, what if, magkasakit yung anak nyo tsaka yung magulang nyo, sino yung uunahin nyo? Reflect on that, guys. Sino yung uunahin natin? Yung ating mga anak or yung ating magulang? Kasi pwede yung mangyari, especially ngayon, COVID, no? May mga situation po na nagkasakit yung anak nila tapos yung mama papa nila is nagkasakit din ng COVID. So, sino yung naiipit? Yung mga breadwinner, yung nagbibigay ng pera po sa pamilya. So, gustuhin ba natin yun na ma-experience na yun ng ating mga anak? So, this is why we are here and I am here this afternoon to talk about the long-term care. It is because as we know this knowledge, if we apply it, we can actually prevent that from happening at maging maranasan po yan ng ating mga anak. So, what if, no? Dalawa po yung ating situation in life. Dalawa lang po yung ifs in life. What if you die too soon? Who will help you? Who will take care of my family? And number 2, what if I live too long? Who will take care of me? No, hindi naman assurance na if marami po tayong anak, hindi po tayo iiwan. No, especially if hindi din sila nakapundar, ipapasa-pasa po tayo, no? Ang sakit nun, di ba? Tayo yung nagpalaki sa ating mga anak, tapos ipinapasa-pasa tayo kasi hindi naman nila kasalanan kasi ngayong mga panahon ngayon mahirap talagang mabuhay kasi there is a high inflation rate, no? Yung gasolina nga ngayon 70 pesos na dito sa Visayas, di ba? Hindi ka na maglalakad na lang lahat ng tao kasi mahal-mahal. So, what is the solution if dying too soon? Again, life insurance because it will give you an amount that will aid your family when you die. And if you live too long, definitely you have to take care of yourself, no? You have to prepare for yourself. Para sa iyo na ito. So, investment and long-term care. So, having said that, that is actually what Kaiser is all about. Kaiser Ultimate Healthcare Builder is actually 3-in-1. It contains the long-term healthcare, life insurance, and the investment that we are talking about earlier. So, let's dissect kasi ang confusing po ng chart na ito. So, your Ultimate Kaiser Healthcare Builder, okay, this is an example. There is a person, no? Meron pong tawagin natin sa pangalang Marvin. Okay, si Marvin ay kumuha ng plan na K100. Okay. Kumuha po si Marvin ng K100. Tapos, si Marvin is actually 22 years old. Okay. Nung 22 years old si Marvin, kumuha siya ng Kaiser. Kasi para sa kanya, retirement is essential. So, dapat correct way of retiring. So, now, kumuha siya ng Kaiser. Nagbayad lang siya ng 7 years. But within that 7 years, meron bang siya makukuha, Doc? Meron po bang benefits? Well, yes, meron. Number 1, meron siyang annual physical examination kasi i-assure po ng Kaiser na good health po yung ating policy holder. Number 2, meron pong free dental, meron pong dental benefits. Pwede po tayong may discount sa mga dentista po na affiliated po ng Kaiser. Tapos, we have a waiver of installment due to death or credit life. If nagbayad po na approve po yung policy ni Marvin. Tapos, kinuha po siya, no? God forbid, no? Kinuha po siya earlier, Lord. Hindi na po magbabayad yung family niya sa nakuha niyang policy. Yung magiging way po niyan is that yung 1 to 7 is fully paid na po. Hindi na po mag-aalala yung family niya. Tapos mag-aantay na lang po yung family nila na mag-mature yung account ni policy holder. Okay. Next is, there's waiver of installment due to disability. If ever yung policy holder na aksidente po ng motor, tapos na spinal cord injury, hindi na po siya nakakagalaw from yung legs down. So, hindi na po siya nakakalakad. So, total disability po yan. Hindi na po siya nakakapagtrabaho na maayos. Especially if yung trabaho niya is using legs a lot. Okay. So, yung gagawin po niya ng Kaiser is to waive po the policy payment. So, yung gagawin na lang po is to, or for example, spinal cord injury, hindi na from neck down, hindi na nakakagalaw si policy holder or si Marvin, kasi Marvin yung pangalan ng ating example ngayon. So, pag ganon, hindi na po siya magbabayad ng ating installment or yung ating pambayad for 7 years. Tapos, antayin na lang po natin na antayin na lang po natin na mature yung ating policy. Tapos, pag-antay natin na mag-mature yung policy, antayin na lang natin na makuha natin yung matured cost. Okay? That's good, di ba? Tapos, meron tayong basic medical benefits which is while we're still paying, no? If hindi talaga natin maiwasan, ma-hospitalize tayo tapos wala tayong ibang healthcare, pwede natin gamitin itong ating Kaiser Healthcare Builder, no? But meron pong limit, no? 60K sa itong policy K100, 60K po yung yung limit. Tapos yung room and board, no, 1,000 per day. But if smaller po yung ating kinuha na yung policy, smaller din yung ating annual benefit limit, mga 50K lang. Pero kung medyo mataas naman, pwede itong mag-exceed until, ano po, until 100K, I think. Pero let me you can always check on the an IMG member to ask if how much is the annual benefit limit if higher po yung ating plan. So with that also, we have a term life insurance, yung sinasabi ko na within 20 years po ng ating binaya, yung after 7 years po nagbayad tayo, mag-antay lang po tayo ng 13 years more. By the time it matures, no, from the day that it is approved, the policy is approved until the 20th year, no, covered po tayo ng life insurance. No, at the very least, hindi po iiyak ng 2 times yung ating family. Dapat yung goal natin, 1 time lang sila iiyak. Okay? So, yun. After that, we also have an accidental death and dismemberment of accumulation until the 20th year. So, not only that mawi-waive po yung ating pambayad, no, there's a chance din if tayo ay mapuputulan ng mga daliri, ng mga kamay, meron pong dismemberment insurance. So may po matatanggap po yung policy holder if may mangyari sa kanya na aksidente tapos naputol po yung mga very important organs, very important parts of the body po. Mabulag, maputulan ng kamay, ganun. Tapos, we already been expanding, no, our hospitals here in the country. So, there are almost 500 hospitals here in the country that is affiliated to Kaiser. And also, we are having 1,000 doctors, okay, that we can actually avail. And I think they're also affiliating more doctors, no? Kasi marami na ding nakakapasa ng mga examinations. So, the more doctors, no, the more affiliations, the more access to healthcare or health services. Okay. So now, anyari if anong nangyayari usually? Excuse me, sorry po. Ano pong nangyayari within that 13 years? So, di ba, sometimes, dapat alam natin yung alam natin yung anong nangyayari sa pera natin, di ba? After we pay it, after we fully paid it. So, every year, there's a 10% yearly health benefit. So, ito ay mag-a-add up until the maturity. Okay. Now, we can also have 10% accumulated unused yearly health benefits. So, ma-accumulate po 'yan kasi especially if hindi po natin nagagamit yung ating Kaiser Ultimate Healthcare Fund, no? Ito ay mag-accumulate ng magko-compound. Meron pong interest every year. So, ito is ma-accumulate, no? Magiging example nito, magiging 269,000. Tapos, meron bonus po if hindi po natin magagastos, no? Until ma-accumulate po lahat ng mga compounded na mga investment. Kasi we actually put our Kaiser funds in mutual fund so that there is constant growth po sa ating nilagay po sa ating Kaiser. Hindi po siya natutulog doon sa sa warehouse, no. Yung pera po natin is nagko-compound, nagro-grow po. Kaya 3-in-1, may investment at may healthcare. Yung gagawin din sa ating money is i-generate niya yung amount for the healthcare na eventually na makukuha natin by the age of 60. Okay, so by the time of maturity, since nag-start early si Marvin, 22 years old siya, meron na po siyang 1.169 million, no, in his account in Kaiser by the age 42. Kasi early kasi siya eh. If we can actually start our children, no, we can actually have a Kaiser, we can actually give or buy Kaiser for our kids at the age of 10. So by the time that they will become 32, meron po tayong, meron 30, meron po tayong pangbigay sa kanila, especially if they want to settle down. Meron po silang 1.1, meron po silang certain amount na pwede nilang ma-enjoy. Okay. Now, after the maturity, no, you have the choice to get the money, lump sum, or you can actually have it stayed in the Kaiser so that it will develop into another version. So here. So usually if you put the amount there, no, it can actually be continued with health benefits of a term life insurance. It can also continue with an incremental withdrawal. So pwede po tayong mag-withdraw kasi bibigyan tayo ng Visa card after tayo upon maturity date or upon the time that we have fully paid. And also, we can also have that option to have a partial withdrawal so that like 50% lang yung kukunin natin, tapos yung the rest is ipastay natin for the healthcare po. And then, ayun. Those are our options. So here we can yun pong option. So, di ba apat yung options? Ang galing-galing, di ba? We can have all these options. Depende lang po sa ating decision after the maturity. So, now we continue. So, after the maturity, what will happen to our money, Doc? So, what will happen to your money is actually it will continue to grow, no? Just like a coconut tree, it will grow a lot of fruits. So, one of the fruits, especially if we wait until since nag-start po early si Marvin ng 22 years old, no? By the time that he will be 60, meron po siyang pwedeng makuha lump sum na 6.4 million. But if ayaw niya, kasi gusto niyang secured po yung hospitalization niya, he can actually anticipate and will not touch the money and anticipate a 648,000 worth of hospitalizations in that year. So, hindi na po siya scared na ma-hospitalize by the age of 60. Kahit ano pa yan, kahit CT scan, MRI, ano pa yan. Kasi meron po siyang pwedeng magastos. So, sabi niya, okay, ayokong gastusin yung aking pera for now. So, antay ako ng 65 years old. So, by 65 years old, meron siyang projected na amount na 10.4 million. So, may option siya again na kunin yon, lump sum, or pwede niyang gasto sa hospitalization niya. Kahit ano pang laboratorio yan, kahit everyday pa siyang magpa-CBC, walang problema. Everyday kasi pag magkasakit tayo, guys, by the age of 60, especially sa mga men, no, pwede po magkasakit ng prostate. So, yun yung mga ganun. Or sa women, no, lahat, lalabas yan, no, mga bleeding na yan. So, magastos talagang magkasakit if we are getting older. So, that is the importance of why we need to prepare it when we are younger. Kasi by the time na ganyan, hindi naman tayo makakatrabaho para makagastos ng ganitong halaga. Kasi usual hospitalization, guys, is it would range from 20,000 yung pinaka-minimum. I think hindi na po yun nangyayari sa private hospitals. Usually, pinaka-maliit siguro is 30K. And then it will also, meron po akong nakikita na mga pasyente po sa aking hospital kung saan ako nagtatrabaho, mga 1 million, 2 million. Hindi na po sila nakakauwi ng bahay. Kasi para siyang anay, no? Pag nagsistay tayo ng medyo matagal sa hospital, no? Lalaki din yung ating payment. Pero hindi naman tayo nakakauwi kasi malaki yung payment. So, para siyang death cycle. Okay. Death cycle yan. So, it is but important again and again and again to emphasize that we need to prepare for our retirement now. Sino yung mapaprepare? Yung ating mga anak? No. It's us. So that hindi na po maging sandwich generation ng ating mga anak. So here are some of the prices po ng ating Kaiser 7-year investment. So as I've said, no, pwede pong 10 years old yung kukuha, no, ng ating Kaiser Healthcare. Kasi para by the age of 30, hindi na po kayo mag-worry if ma-hospitalize sila. So yung i-worry nyo lang is yung other things. So, pwede na po sila mag-concentrate to investing their money. Kasi secured na po sila in that department. Okay. So, ito po, basta as I've said, no, the younger you are, no, the lesser you can actually, the lesser that you will be able to pay kasi excuse me. Lesser you pay because when we were younger, no, marami pong time tayo na mag-accumulate. So okay, so when we become older, no, life begins at 40. So by the time it becomes 40, yung pinakamaliit na pong plan na pwede nating makuha is yung K60. And then mga 3.5 na yun. But when we become 50, no, until 60 lang kasi yung long-term healthcare, yung pinakamaliit is K75. O, di ba? So, mas better if we start early because it's cheaper. And again, the more you give, the more you receive. So, if we have a bigger plan, definitely we'll have a bigger value upon maturity. If we have a bigger plan, we have a bigger benefit when it comes to hospitalization. If we have a bigger plan, we have a bigger retirement. So, yun lang yun, guys. The more you give, the more you receive. Okay. So, guys, the only broker that will offer this, no, the only people, the people that can actually offer this to the people who wants the plan is an IMG member. Okay? So, an IMG member can give you a quote and you can actually process your application through one IMG member. If hindi po siya IMG member, hindi po siya makaka-process po ng Kaiser Ultimate Healthcare Builder. And for legalities, guys, no, actually Kaiser and IMG, no, International Marketing Group, has been duly licensed and certified by the Security and Exchange Commission since September 4, 2002, and is also one of the brokers that is given a privilege of the Insurance Commission. No, we have a license with the Insurance Commission, together with also with Kaiser. So, my question now is, saan ba tayo dito? No? Are you the one who enjoys now but suffers later? Or the one who somehow prepares now and enjoy later? So, furthermore, no, meron po tayong mga legalities again kasi sometimes, Dok, anong mangyayari if sirado ba yun? Kasi sabi nila, yung mga ganito, magsisirado. What are the legalities we have and how secure it is? So, actually, Kaiser is part of the PAHMOC, so Philippine Association of Health Maintenance Organization and Companies. So, kasali po si Kaiser along with MaxiCare and other HMOs in the country. And our vice chairman is actually part of the officers of the said organization. And we are trusted by some of the government's government departments, which is the Supreme Court, the House of Representatives, the Department of Agrarian Reform. And definitely, these are distributed or this is distributed by the IMG as the exclusive broker. So, what if, Doc? What if mawala yung Kaiser sa mundo? No, what if mawala yung Kaiser International Health Group? What will happen to my money? So, how can we be sure that if Kaiser will be there in the long term, is that we will have that assurance. Saan po kami hindi ba ito magra-run for our money? Hindi kasi at least 51% of the payments that we, the plan holders, automatically will go to the trust fund. No? May trust fund po tayo, guys, which is required by the government because we are part of the Insurance Commission. So the Kaiser company cannot touch this trust fund because definitely it's not their money, it's our money. So they place it in a trust fund. So it is reserved for future claims of our plan holders. So advance mag-isip po si Kaiser. So this trust fund is managed by two international banks. So hindi po siya bangko ng ating Pilipinas. No, it is managed by banks from the Netherlands, which is the ING Bank of Netherlands, and the Deutsche Bank of Germany. So, and then the 49% of Kaiser, the fund that we give is actually placed in a mutual fund. So the mutual fund is the Soldivo Fund. So the Soldivo Fund is actually a mutual fund that is one of the top mutual funds here in the Philippines that will manage our money so that somehow it will not just stay at as is, but it will grow for us to be provided our plan or the investment that we anticipate by the time that we retire or we have the maturity of our plan. Okay? So this Soldivo Fund actually includes top companies in the Philippines so that even if one of them closes, hindi po hindi po ko-collapse po yung ating funds na nilagay doon. Kasi pag yung corporations lang naman na included po sa ating kung saan natin nilagay yung funds natin is SM Prime, Ayala Land, BDO, BPI, Ayala, Metropolitan, Metrobank, Megawide, GG Summit, diba? Aboitiz Equity. Actually, the updated version of this included na po si Jollibee dyan. So, yung ating pera is one of the funds that is used for a Jollibee store. The one that you're eating. One SM store or one BDO bank. Diba? So, that's where our Kaiser funds are going. So, again, no, I would like to emphasize that if we plan our retirement now, we'll have a good future ahead of us because we are planning. And not all of the people that plans and follows them, no, usually they are very triumphant, no, just like the ant that at sunny days, no, yung ating mga langgam ay nagagather po ng food kasi anytime meron pong ulan, hindi po sila na titinag kasi meron po silang pagkain. Okay. We should have that mentality, that ant mentality that we have to prepare when it's sunny so that by the time that it is rainy, we will have the security. So, Kaiser International, Ultimate Healthcare Builder is actually the complete financial plan. It has an insurance that will insure our family if we die too soon. We will have healthcare that will take care of us when we get older, and we will not be able to think a lot of problems when it comes to spending for our hospitalization. And we'll have an investment that we can look forward to achieve our dreams. So with that, let me give you an end note. If you are born poor, it's not your mistake because we cannot really decide where to go and get out from what womb, no? Hindi naman natin decision kung saan po tayo lumabas. But if we die poor or we are in a state that we are hindi po tayo nag-prepare, no? It is our decision and is the consequence of our decisions. So with that, this afternoon, we'd like to thank you for listening and also giving us time to discuss about this. So, host, this, ano po? Hello, Ma'am Tinette.
Alright, thank you so much po, Ma'am Judy. Maraming salamat po sa napakaganda ninyong paliwanag, no? At napakaklaro ninyong paliwanag para sa ating topic ngayon. Good afternoon po sa inyong lahat. My name is Brian Roque. I'm a nurse by profession po. At ako isang marketing director. I will be your host, no? Sa lahat po ng ating mga guests for this afternoon, stay muna po kayo. Hold on your questions. We will give you some time po para magkaroon tayo ng question and answer, no? For now, we will call po muna isang member ng ating IMG. Bakit? Tanungin natin siya, bakit siya nag-member ng Kaiser or bakit siya nag-own ng Kaiser? Ano yung kanyang experience, no? Mag-share muna po tayo. Any member po sa atin na nandito na pwedeng mag-share, no? Sa kanyang reason why